The following program is rated G and is suitable for viewing by all ages.
The holiday season is the season of giving for many. In Red Deer, one of the biggest chances people have to give is the Festival of Trees. For almost 3 decades, the festival has sold specially decorated trees to raise money for the Red Deer Regional Hospital. Every year, hundreds of volunteers come forward to put together the event. So why do you think that volunteerism is so big in Red Deer and all these volunteers come together year after year to do these kinds of initiatives?
You know, it's a good question. It's been like that ever since I've been in Red Deer. I've been involved in a lot of organizations. My kids are involved in organizations. And I just think that the people of Red Deer just have that realization that if things are going to happen, they have to get involved.
Well, first of all, I think we're a very small towny, even though we're bigger, we have that small town feel, and people are very proud of their community. And I think they like to give back and they like to make sure that we look good.
And I've lived in all parts of Canada, and I feel like Red Deer and Central Zone it's very tight-knit, and people really do see the value of unified effort. I think it's a very common theme out here.
The Festival of Trees brought people from all walks of life. You know, I mean, it was a project that was theirs. There was something for everybody.
I think volunteering is really, it makes a difference, you know? So I like giving my time back.
Awesome.
And I like seeing people happy too. So I would definitely encourage more people to do it.
Love to give back to my community. I'm at a point in my life where I have a skill set that I can share.
Of course, Christmas is the big season of giving, but throughout the year, there's so many other needs and so many other community groups that need help that people just step up to the plate and say, yeah, you know, we give at Christmas, but we need to give year-round of our time, our talent, our energy, and our resources, whether it's money or gifts in kind.
So one of the things that we really wanted to explore was not just how people contribute in the designated season of giving, but really throughout the entire year. I'm Alessia Proietti.
And my name's Sean McIntosh, and we are two of the creators of the currency of contribution, along with Riley Surian, who's just off camera right now. One way people give back to the community is through volunteerism, but another way is through philanthropy. Many of the groups and organizations that help others in Red Deer, they wouldn't be able to contribute back if it wasn't for the financial donations of individuals.
One of the most prolific couples in Red Deer with regards to philanthropy in particular is Jack and Joan Donald.
Well, we moved from Edmonton to Red Deer mainly because we wanted to have our own business, but the other problem was I thought it would be a better place to raise our 2 children. It was a lot smaller when we moved in 1964, but I've always really liked Red Deer. And there were so many things and projects that I could see that I could possibly help to get them going and help them, you know, succeed.
Basically being in business up to my years for many years since we came here. I have helped Joan go and canvass for money in some of the campaigns she's run. I've been a member of a service club here since we moved here, and
But you ran for city council.
Always tried to pull my weight and where I was. I've had 2 terms on city council. That's not a volunteer job, but it certainly does take a lot of time.
Jack founded an ultra-successful oil company back in the mid-1960s. Both are Citizen of the Year recipients in Red Deer and have been named to the Order of Alberta for their work and contributions.
And without Joan, the Festival of Trees would never have happened.
Sort of early on when we moved here, I was appointed to the Red Deer Regional Health Foundation. That's where Michael Daw was the chair. He sent us out on a mission to come back with some ideas of some project we could run to raise some money in the city. I heard about Festival of Trees in Edmonton, And so I loaded up all our kids and all our grandkids, and away we went to Festival of Trees in Edmonton, and it was good. The kids had a great time. So I came back, and when next meeting of the foundation, I said, I think we should have Festival of Trees. And I told them what it was all about and whatever. And so that was kind of the start. And I still have this image of parking one day in the parking lot, and a couple other cars parked at the same time, and the kids got out and they're really running to the door to get to Festival of Trees. And I thought, that's worth it. When I retired here just 3-4 years ago, we had 16 million that we had raised for equipment in the hospital. I've got an amputated leg, so when I went in and they were going to do the surgery and they were going to put me out, and they said, no, don't put her out yet. I got to tell her thank you for all of these great mirrors and things that are hanging up in this operating room was bought by Festival of Trees. So that made me feel better for my surgery.
On top of their work supporting the hospital, Jack and Joan have also donated and been board members for organizations like Westerner Park and its Centrium, that's where the local junior hockey team plays, Red Deer Polytechnic's library, the institution's School of Business, and STAR's Air Ambulance.
Why did you decide that you wanted to get involved in all of these projects that you saw?
Well, I could give back to the community by volunteering. That's the first thing I think of, is to volunteer. But as we were more successful, we could also give some money to help them succeed. I always say you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You have to be able to throw something back. So, you know, that you go to the hospice, for instance, when they were building the hospice and they were short of money and they had to take out a mortgage and they couldn't pay the mortgage plus the expenses. So they came to me and said, would you help us by raising some funds for us? And so I got a crew together, and in 6 months we had 8.3 million. So just things like that, and if you can help people get going, because if they're short of money, right now they're in trouble. So I used to, you know, go to STARS or trying to get helicopters. I was on their board for 6 years. And had a couple of campaigns, or the other place was Red Deer Polytechnic now. We did a lot at the college to
Build the library.
Built the library.
Joan has a real knack in sensing things that the community needs. And she also has a bit of a trap line, if you like, of folks that help her and have helped out over the years. And they in turn have their own little trap lines of people. And so Joan's been very successful at starting something and getting people to get in and pitch in and work, and has run some absolutely wonderful, successful fundraising campaigns.
When it comes to raising funds, what do you think is the key to success in getting people to fundraise?
Well, that's what I said. When you have a group of volunteers that work with you, number one, you do what you say. You're there all the time. You appreciate them. You, like what I used to do with the crew is we'd clean this out of furniture here and we'd put tables in here and have a dinner at our home for their thank you, you know, so the next time you ask them, they're a little more able to say yes. If you don't thank them in some way that's special, and there's just no other way to do it but thank them in every way you can. You can't say thank you too many times to a volunteer.
Love it. You had both, speaking of volunteerism, you both joined service clubs in your past. Which ones did you join, and why did you decide to join a service club?
I joined the Optimus Club because the lawyer that I had just met to buy the property in Red Deer said, why don't you come to a meeting with me and I'll show you what Optimus is all about. So I went and liked the people that were there, and was appointed as a life member of Optimus, and joined the Rotary Club, and I'm still a Rotary Club member, so Monday at noon.
Okay, and what do you like about being part of the Rotary Club? What are some things that you do there?
Well, they have some interesting projects. They're local. They use a lot of people as volunteers, very civic-minded and very local. It's all local.
One of the ways that the Donalds decided to give back was through their work in service clubs. Now, I didn't know coming to Red Deer what a service club was. They weren't really popular in Quebec. So for those people who don't know, a service club is a group of people who raise money and perform charitable work in the community.
In Red Deer, they actually designated a service club week back in September of 2022. During this week, 9 local service clubs representing the 5 service organizations of Rotary, Kiwanis, Optimist, Lions, and Kinsman clubs announced 5 joint projects where they would donate time and funds to a handful of Red Deer charities. Red Deer's first service club was the Rotary. It was chartered all the way back in 1923, and now there are 3 of the clubs in the city. We wanted to speak with Rotarians about why they got involved and what exactly they do.
I've been a Rotarian now for 12 years. I love it. It's great. Getting my kids involved in it because I believe in the whole premise of service above self, which is what we're all about.
I've been about a little over 15 years. It'll be 16 years this summer. Yeah.
Wow, okay. What made you want to get involved in that?
In Rotary, I was new to Red Deer at the time, and it was a good way to meet people for fellowship purposes.
And how many years have you been with the Rotary?
This is going to date me. Since 1998.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I know.
Born.
There you go.
That's great though.
So, you know, one of the things that really impressed me when I moved here 20 years ago was the level of philanthropy that exists in this community. It actually inspires you to want to get more involved, whether it's through Rotary or the Festival of Trees or Red Deer Polytechnic and the work that they're doing. There's just a host of different ways that people in this community can and have gotten involved in giving back.
Between the 3 Rotary clubs in Red Deer, thousands of dollars have been granted to various organizations. Over the years, the clubs have sponsored various projects in the community, including Rotary Park. Recently, the Rotary hosted a luncheon just before Christmas where they gave $12,500 to several charities.
What we did today here at Christmas is that we sponsor a number of different organizations at Christmas time with cash donations to help them do the good work that they're doing every day. We couldn't do it on our own. We need to rely on these organizations to help the rest of our community. And so when we are able to help them financially, it makes me feel great.
We wanted to see firsthand some of the work that Rotarians do, so we chose to shadow a holiday project by the Rotary of Red Deer East Club called the Good Kids Santa Kits.
This one that we're doing right now, the Good Kids Santa Kits, all proceeds are going to the Red Deer Food Bank, Red Deer East Community Kitchen. Mm-hmm. So that's a really special I guess, fundraiser for us as well, is to just know that that money is going towards such an important charity.
The Santa Kits were prepared by Rotarians and were filled with activities and toys for young kids. The Santa Kits were either sold for your own kids or for donation to children at the Ronald McDonald House or the Child Advocacy Center, and all the proceeds would go to the Rotary Club of Red Deer East Community Kitchen. The Community Kitchen, located in the Red Deer Food Bank, was built by the club to provide catering and food preparation services and to offer educational opportunities for adults and youth.
These special boxes that were donated from Red Deer Club Rotary East are so special because they will not only make the child who's in hospital or being treated with hospital get something special, but also the siblings. So lots of times the service groups and donors that support Ronald McDonald House are supporting the entire family, the parents, the siblings, and the child in the hospital.
It's one of those things that you can't even put a word to. It's just such a good feeling knowing that a small thing that I've done has helped to affect somebody even in a minuscule level, either locally or internationally. We have made their day better. We've made their environment better, their community better, their world better. And you can't put a price on that. You really can't. It's either in you or it's not. And it just feels really good to give back, especially knowing how privileged we are here. We're extremely privileged for the most part.
So, if you just look around the communities, you'll see the evidence of service clubs coming in and doing wonderful things that, quite frankly, the community would be in a deficit without.
When people get involved in giving back, we build a stronger community. We help more people. We build a foundation for our kids. We build safe spaces for people to be. And so for me, that's what philanthropy is all about. I think people can give either time, talent, or treasure.
One person who's donated a lot of his time to the club is Ray Macbeth.
The people that get involved in a Rotary Club are usually there for a long time, and I'm coming up to quite a few years.
How many years?
Quite a few.
All I want to say.
As a living, work with the outreach as a fund development officer. And that, as a hobby, I have about 10 or 15 different charities that we're involved with. And the concept of charity work is just that there's a lot of people out in our community that don't have anywhere near the same benefits in life that some of us have. And so it's just a good way to share. It's good fellowship, of course, and all of that.
In your words, what would you describe Red Deer as?
When you work side by side with people on charitable projects, you find out what they're made of very quickly. And in Red Deer, we're fortunate. People are very, very friendly and very, very committed. They're extremely supportive of good community causes and that. And then it's the people that get out there and do the hustling and that make it all work. And we have a lot of fun with that. We treat it like it's a good time and that it's sort of an event that you normally wouldn't get in Red Deer. I've always been a believer that if you have a good social aspect to your community, it certainly helps to raise some money.
What role would you say that service clubs play in contribution into a community?
Oh, well, you just actually would not be successful if you didn't have those service clubs. Because, it's organization, it's also people that have got connections within the community, and I guess that's probably the role I play more in, is going out. I don't ever MC an event. I don't ever stand at the door welcoming and all that kind of stuff. My part of it is to stay in the background and watch for problems and make darn good sure that, our events run really smooth.
Macbeth was one of the leaders behind the club's largest fundraiser, Black Tie Bingo. He was also instrumental in launching the Citizen of the Year Award and the Rotary Clock in the city's downtown. He's won a number of awards himself, including the Queen's Jubilee Medal for Community Service back in 2003.
We also created one called the Mac and Cheese Luncheon. The idea behind that, some people had come and asked me about why I didn't do any fundraising for the food bank. Anyway, they convinced me to go up and take a look at it. And so I went and took a look at the food bank, and there's no food in there. Like one carton of macaroni and cheese, 12 boxes. Anybody who's been, I was in the Navy for 11 years. So you just about subsist on macaroni and cheese, Anyway. So we put together 16 local guys and girls and that, of course. And the idea was that each one of us had to go out and sell 10 tables and that to the event. But anyway, bottom line to the whole thing, it was lunch hour, and all you got for $150 was a scoop of macaroni and cheese. That's all you got and that. So I went by a table, and there was 6 or 8 young lawyers that were there. And one of them's on his cell phone, and I'm standing behind him. He doesn't know that. And he's telling his wife, yeah, I spent $150. You know what we got? We just got a little scoop of macaroni and cheese. Anyway, he has a few other words in there about how this was such a stupid idea. The stupid idea was 800 people arrived at the event, paid $150 each. And that we put $170,000 into the food bank. Wow. Out of lunch hour. Yeah, it was a great event.
You were saying, so you pretty much joined the Rotary Club right after the Navy, so you were fairly young. Yeah, nowadays, I know I was speaking to some other Rotarians, and they were saying that it's kind of difficult to get younger people, let's say, to join these kind of service clubs. What do you feel about that, and how would you
kind of change that in today's generation?
We're working on doing that right now. Rotary's made up of a bunch of old guys like me, you know, and stuff like that, people that have been around for a long time. And we really have dropped the ball in asking the younger people in our community to join in. So we have a new president of the club, Darcy McTishan. And Darcy is very, very dedicated to rebuilding the Rotary Club, as I would say.
Volunteering's hard. Volunteering requires a commitment of time away from your own family. And you know, over the last 20 years, everybody's life has become busier. People are working harder, they've got more activities with their families, and carving out time to give back to the community through time is a challenge. And we face that in Rotary, and I know in talking to other service clubs in Central Alberta, they're facing the same challenge. What we're trying to do with our club is we're trying to open up the opportunity for younger, newer members to look at Rotary as an opportunity to give back and invest, find ways to tap into things that they're really interested in, similar to the reasons that I got involved in Rotary.
When the kids, our children, saw us volunteering and leaving and saying we got to go here and there and all over, they followed our pattern though. They're just great volunteers, both of them. And so that really made me feel good, because we need some generation to carry this on.
Things progress, right? As there are new needs, as there are new demographics coming in, we have to change with the times, which is why you'll find Rotary clubs happening in pubs, in restaurants, in, you know, people's homes, online, whatever the case may be. If you want to give back, let's find a way for you to give back.
I think that young people don't really join clubs, they join causes. And so, you know, I think a great position for service clubs to take is to be front and foremost of what causes are you supporting and what are you committed to support, which will attract and build interest around younger people joining.
As a young adult, it makes sense that younger people want to come together in support of a cause. A good example of this is when two women teamed up to host a lip-sync battle in support of the Outreach Center, which helps people overcome the effects of domestic violence, suicide, homelessness, and poverty.
But those two ladies, they put this thing together, sell it out. I mean, 350 people 2 weeks ago, another 350 just the other night. And that, I mean, major fundraising, and that just came right out of the blue. I never would have believed that you could get that kind of money out of that. So even us old guys have to learn a little bit on the way by, you know.
I think for Red Deer being a city, we really act like a small town. And I don't know another community in our province that really is the same.
I've worked for charities now for 35 years. And if there's one thing I can tell you about Canadians, because I've worked in Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, is that they care about their neighbors, they care about their community, and when they know people are hurt and need help, Canadians and in particular Albertans step up.
Why did you decide to volunteer this evening?
Well, you know, I've actually done it. This is going to be my third time now. I've just learned that this is such a great organization. This is a great cause for the Women's Outreach Center. Obviously, it helps a lot of families in need, a lot of women in need, kids in need. It helps everybody in the community, and any way I can be a part of it, I love to just be here to kind of show my support, and that's kind of why I decided to do it.
Well, there are so many organizations that, you know, they're in the business of helping people in any way they can, and they rely on fundraising to be able to do that. You know, at this time of year too, there's always so many organizations asking for funds, and it's hard to donate to all of them, but it's so nice that people are still willing to contribute a little bit here and a little bit there, because so many organizations rely on it in order to help the people that need it the most. So it's nice to be able to, like say, actually contribute something to help them.
100% of the proceeds truly go to the outreach. Both Brandy and I have been part of events in the past where we've seen big splashy centerpieces, and you know, in that moment you're like, oh, well, that's taken from the money, the profits that should go to the charity. We can both stand really firmly in the fact that all the money goes to the outreach.
Well, this has become our big fundraiser of the year. Tonight we will raise, with the 2 shows, over $100,000, and it supports our Adopt a Parent program at Christmas. So we've already served 180 families. We've served the single parents and their kids. So as of today, we've helped 180 families. And they've each got anywhere from sort of 2 to 4 kids. So this is a community effort. We've got tons of people from the community and sponsors, and it's just lovely to see it this time of year.
Given the time that we're in, people are in need. Domestic violence is a real problem in Alberta, all over the world. Just the fact that people can put their money and their hearts in a direction of people in need fills my cup to know that we are doing this for this.
Fundraising is actually a lot of fun. You get to meet all kinds of wonderful people. You get to see the love, the care, the compassion that people have for others. We can get a little disillusioned in this world when we watch the news, but I can tell you, I've seen it year in, year out for 35 years. The community cares, and there's so many. There's way more caring people in the community than people who don't care.
There are people like the Donalds who are able to give back in philanthropic ways that others cannot. But events like the lip sync battle show you don't need to have a lot to give a lot. It was started when 2 women decided they wanted to do something fun to raise money for a cause meaningful to them.
And service clubs do the same thing. It's a group of people who are helping individuals and organizations that are in need. There will always be problems in a city and causes in need of support, but it's things like the volunteerism, the philanthropy, and the service clubs that show many in Red Deer are ready to answer a call for help.